Good morning, everybody. Uh, this is my favorite part of morning is my dog. He brings a lot of joy into my life. There he is. Radar. That's my boy. Anyway, so I was born in 1969. Back in the day I grew up, that was everybody's looking at it now. That was in the 70s when I grew up. I was just a little kid. Uh, Everything was a little different. We didn't really source out of China until I started growing up. And all the people I grew up around taught me that to buy in my own country is way, way better than to go buy from another country. So, I always thought, well, all these other country products are pretty cool. They can produce some stuff really fast, like their motorcycles. And their motorcycles were basically kind of a light POS compared to ours, and ours were big and heavy and fancy and chromy to me. They were Harley Davidsons. To me, that was the motorcycle. And so I read a lot of Harley books, and I had one brother that rode Harley Davidson, and I had one brother that rode Yamaha. And of course, we all rode American snowmobiles. Being from North Dakota up here in this area, we're from a place that we get half a year of snow, so you got to know how to ride a snowmobile. So anyways, we all rode the same snowmobiles. But getting back to the Harleys and the Japanese bikes or whatever bikes, even if they were built in Europe, they were a lighter motorcycle. For some reason, Americans have always ridden big, heavy motorcycles, big engines with a lot of torque. And all these other countries were riding these light motorcycles. And I thought, well, I'm an American, I'm going to ride an American motorcycle. And I had the dream of riding the American motorcycle, and I am still a dreamer of American motorcycles. Maybe someday we'll, make our own brand here that's better than everything. We like big and heavy. We like things that are shiny. That was just the way it was, and the way it has been. Now everybody's moved to plastic. Everything is plastic. And I'm not talking just everything. It's plastic. And it's easy to produce. I mean, I can see why, people think, oh, I don't buy plastic stuff. I'm an American. Well, you buy plastic. Everything's plastic. Everything. The bumper on your car is plastic. The telephone in your hand is plastic. I can go right down the list to the plastic toothbrush and the plastic carpet and the plastic acrylic clothing that you wear. There it is. There it is. Plastic. Plastic hanging in the window, acrylic. I mean, I got a plastic television, plastic cars. Everything's plastic, And to me, plastic is always and has been and kind of always will be kind of a junk. It's like, oh, it's not very tough. But you do realize that An American entrepreneur decided one time that plastic was a very, very good idea. And he made plastic out of hemp. He also made fuel out of hemp. And his name was Ford. And he created an automobile. And he sold you that automobile. Believe it or not, this is weird. That automobile is not around. Nope. But hemp is becoming a legal thing. People are buying it. You know, I don't know if it's not the same as marijuana, but it is the same as marijuana. You know, to each their own. And I grew up around marijuana, and I grew up around alcohol, and to tell you the truth, alcohol has caused more problems, more headaches, more diseases than I've ever seen marijuana cause ever. I've never seen marijuana killing people other than some kind of a weird man type invention, maybe a car, you know. No, we don't even have those. So, um, yeah, ranting about my day. Well, my day in the 70s, of course, marijuana was highly prevalent in the 60s and 70s, so we grew up around it. Um, Alcohol was, my town had a lot of alcohol. It was called Little Chicago. Yeah, I don't think you ever heard of it, but anyway, it was in the Prohibition days. Grand Forks was one thing, and East Grand Forks was another thing, and they kind of let stuff slide over in East Grand Forks. So that's my hometown. Um, oh, yeah. I found out that I didn't think there was much that came from the hometown here, but there was actually a great rock star that come from here, and his group was called Blue Cheer. So you look up at Blue Cheer, their bass player. He come from Grand Forks, North Dakota. So Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, they're sister towns. They're right next to each other. All you got to do is walk across a bridge, and you're in one town, and then you're in another town. So there's a river between us, and that's a state line. Um, yeah. Let's get down to the motorcycle thing. Harley Davidson's. Harley Davidson was, and always will be, in my world, one of the best manufacturers of motorcycles. When they sent that to AMF, the bowling ball company, no. Those didn't feel like a motorcycle. The Harleys that they sent and had made in Germany, and things are fast. Okay, it's called a V-Rod, by the way. Yeah, it's an American-made motorcycle designed by Germans. Now, the Germans are smart. Don't get me wrong. They're smart. And for being where they are, they live near a thing called the Autobahn. And the Autobahn is one of the, it is the fastest. You can go as fast as you want on the Autobahn, providing it's got a level of safety to it. But yeah, you can go to at any speed on the Autobahn. And so it's right next to Germany. They design in Germany the BMW motorcycle, the BMW car, and they also designed the Harley Davidson V-Rod. And so this is one of the fastest motorcycles there is. The trouble with it, I'm a motorcycle guy. I like them. I don't like to ride things with long front ends because they take a long time to turn. I don't like to ride things with big fat tires because when they go sideways, they don't slide out from underneath you. They grab, they catch, they go the other way, and then they swing back and go the other way. And if you can't catch that, that's what we call a fishtail. Swing back and forth. If you can't catch that, you land face down on your face on the ground. Doesn't matter if you're wearing a helmet or not. When you land on your head, any speed, it's not good. And if you have a helmet on, if you land on your face, that's not good. You're breaking your neck probably. V-rods are bad. I had one that it had under 2,000 miles on it, had a brand new exhaust, had a brand new big fat tire on the back. And I watched a video. Yeah, the guy swung back and forth and went down on his face, and I was like, that's my bike. Huh. And I just had a friend who passed away here. I'll just say he rode a V-Rod to his death. Yeah. I bought mine after he passed, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna be cool. Yeah, no. Yeah. I sold it. I've never been scared on a motorcycle. I've had them slide out. I've had bicycles slide out. I've had the skin knee as a kid. We jumped each other as a kid. We weren't scared. But you know what? You shouldn't have to be scared to go for a ride on your bike. So buy something that you like. And yeah, that's for my friend. Buy something you like. I like the V-Rod. I like to go fast. Yeah, I like to go fast. I'm telling you about Germany. I like fast. Hey, there's my buddy. Good morning. Yeah, anyway. So, I own a BMW now. But my favorite bike is my first Harley I owned. And I wish I had it back. Because it belonged to my friend. I traded it for what was definitely a better deal, the Heritage. So, yeah, appreciate that, guy. Getting back to my friend's Harley, that was an 08. And the Heritage was an 11. And so, yeah, I liked my 08 because it was low, built low. I got short legs. I'm only, a little under 6 foot, so not that tall. These tall bikes with the high center of gravity are not that great. Hey, that's why I fell in love with the V-Rod. I thought, oh, that's a nice little bike, but yeah, the front end skinny tire stuff, no, it slid out, long, skinny, way out in front, no. So yeah, I guess all them cool choppers that the Harley guys had, they were just cool, and that to me was, well, cool is cool, but I like to have functionality in my ride, so my first bike was Honda. What was it? Honda? No. It was a Yamaha 250 Enduro I bought from my buddy. and then I bought the Honda after it. So I went from an Enduro to a Honda 554 street bike. And the Honda 554 came from Arizona. It had a reverse throttle on it. It was something somebody just slapped together so they could go for a ride. It was the hardest thing to get used to in the world is the reverse throttle. So these, I think there were a couple of guys that owned it and they never changed the throttle. But anyways, I changed it because it was kind of one of those things, everybody wanted to ride the old bike. It was what was it? 72 Honda 554, and it looked flat like a loaf of bread, and it didn't look that fast. But OMG, yeah, that bike was really fast. I ended up selling it to a friend, buying it back, selling it to another friend, buying it back, selling it to that friend, and then it burned up under a bar. Yeah. So I bought it back, or no, he gave it back to me, I think. I don't remember. I think I bought it back maybe 75. It was like he gave it back. And then I was going to fix it up, and I got to tearing it apart. And I was like, nah. But anyways, you guys, these bikes are special. If you like to ride a motorcycle, I do. Harleys are awesome. Okay, I'll never put down a Harley. Maybe AMF, but I still like Harley AMF. Don't get me wrong. I like all the Harleys. I like all the motorcycles. So whatever. I'm a Harley guy, but I ride a BMW. Have a good day. Thanks, man.